Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be the Beastmen and Chaos versus two Imperial players. My army rundown here is we have a front line of Gore herds with shields backed up by Malagor the Dark Omen. He only has two spells, one that increases the attack of a single ally, I believe, and the speed maybe? And then the other one is spawning a Cygor, because why not? You get a free unit there. Well, basically free. Then we also have two Gorbals. I am not running any potions on them, just because I think it's a little too strong for the Gorbals to have those, and no more than two Gorbals at a time, because god, they're just silly. Then we also are running two Minotaurs with great weapons, because against two Imperial players, I expected some kind of knights of some sort. We'll get to that in a bit. And then we also have a Chaos spawn back here, one Ungor Spearman herd, because I had extra money left over. And then in Vanguard deployment, two Ungor herds and two Ungor raiders. My ally has a front line of Chaos Marauders backed up by a main line of Forsaken. Then we also have two Chaos Warriors with halberds, an Exalted Hero, two of them. We also have a giant Big Bird and his Chaos Troll armored, looks like bodyguard unit over there. For the Empire, we have some Outriders with grenade launchers, a Demigryph Knight units with halberds. We have a General flying on a mount. We have a front line of halberds, crossbows, two great cannons, and two great swords. Then this player brought two of the Hailstorm rocket batteries, three halberdiers, two great swords, two crossbows, a Celestial Wizard, a Warrior Priest on the mounted armored horse, and then a General mounted as well. And over here we have another Demigryph Knight unit with halberds in the forest. So yeah, the Beastmen and Chaos fighting together, as it should be. Also Big Bird. We don't see Big Bird often. In fact, the only time I saw him was the one time I brought him. But there he is, looking pretty cool. And I thought it was kind of cool how, you know, their leader has wings, Malagor has wings. You know, it's a theme. Here goes those Outriders with the grenade launchers getting into the side of these Forsaken. Meanwhile, the crossbows are laying down suppressive fire on the front line of the Chaos Marauders. These Forsaken are going to start chasing the Outriders, but turns out the Outriders are a little faster than Forsaken. Who knew? But the rest of the Forsaken are going to just leave the Chaos Marauders behind, and they are going to engage with this halberd line. Forsaken and halberds. Stat-wise, the Forsaken will win in a one-on-one fight. Marauders will have a tougher time against halberdiers, though. Meanwhile, the Forsaken are still chasing the Outriders. The Exalted Heroes are still coming in with the Giant. The Chaos Warriors are coming in a little bit behind. And Big Bird with his Armored Trolls are going to be getting on their left flank. And I'll be showing my fight in a little bit. Crossbows currently are not under threat of any enemy unit. There are some great swords mixed in that are going to be going in here soon. There go those Demigryph Knights. These two great cannons really haven't been able to fire. Maybe just because of line of sight issues with their own units in front of them. I'm not sure, but they've been pretty silent. Here comes the great swords into a group of Forsaken, and you can see the Forsaken are going to break from the great sword charge. Here goes the transmutation of lead from Big Bird, one of the best spells in that lore, the lore of metal. Lowering their weapon damage and melee attack. Here comes some flanking actions into the crossbows along with the Giant. The Armored Trolls are kind of waiting in reserve, and Big Bird is now over here, helping the Chaos Exalted Hero against these halberds. And great swords. And the General of the Empire. Now here come the Chaos Warriors reinforcements. Just in time to help Big Bird. I think that Forsaken group, yeah, the Forsaken group is still chasing these Outriders with grenade launchers. The Demigryph Knights that you saw earlier actually went over to fight me, so we'll see them later. This Exalted Hero is going to wreak havoc amongst this greatsword unit. Giant just breathing some foul breath. And these cannons, like, still are not really firing. Big Bird routed some halberds, so now they're going to come into this crossbow, into the great cannons. The Chaos Warriors have taken a little bit of a beating from that Greatsword unit and this General of the Empire, but there are two of them there, so they're going to still do rather okay. Meanwhile, these halberds are trying to break. Another transmutation of lead being dropped by Big Bird. There goes a great cannon shot. Right into the face of that Armored Troll, actually. It sent him flying back over here. Now the Giant and Big Bird are trying to silence this position. You can see the greatswords are broken. Some of these units have shattered, but most are just currently broken, and will try to come back from routing. But then they're going to shatter before another engagement is engaged. I don't know. So let's stop it right there, and let's see how I did, because this side of the battle is basically done. Hellstorm rocket batteries. Again, this player brought 2 of them. I may at the most bring 1 just to have fun. Bringing 2 of them, man, it's a risk. That's a risk. So the idea that I have here is going to be ignoring their front line of halberdiers with our Minotaurs. We're going to shift the Minotaurs and the Gorbals around each of the flanks, along with my Chaos Spawn, while the Gore Herds will march straight for the halberdiers to tie them up. And then our raiding force back here, didn't know about these halberdiers, by the way, because they're currently heading, is going to come back here and try to take out the crossbows and the Hellstorm rocket batteries. That is the plan. Malagor here is going to be casting the Sigor. Look at that beautiful thing. He's just like, oh, I'm so sleepy. Why'd you wake me up? Nice piss. Now, these halberdiers actually took some friendly fire, so that is pretty beautiful. I have not actually hit them at all yet. There goes the first rock from the Sigor getting friendly fire into my Gore Herd. And you can see we're just going to be charging in. There's their Celestial Wizard. The Celestial Wizard casted Curse of Midnight over here. The thing is, though, there's not going to be too much combat happening over here. It would have been much better placed in the main line against these Gore Herds. But that's what's going on over there. My Raiders are about to reach the back line. And that's when we see these Demigryph Knights are going to be coming out of the forest. You can see my Gore Herd, or it's not Gore Herd, my Minotaurs are on the right flank and the left flank over here. We're currently dealing with the Warrior Priest who went alone against the Gorbal and Minotaurs with great weapons, which have anti-large. So that was nearly suicide. My Raiders are now trying to run away from the Demigryph Knights. And I'm trying to get our Minotaurs into those ranks. We're going to try and delay them with our Ungor Herd. But I want to try and save our Raiders. But here comes the Gorbal and some of the Minotaurs with great weapons. You can see the enemy Demigryph Knight unit from over there is coming to also assist these units. And then I'm going to be bringing our other Minotaur and great weapon Minotaur into these Demigryph Knights as well. And since these Knights didn't get a charge off on my Minotaurs, that's why we're going to be winning this right now. Here comes some more reinforcements, some spears. A nice recharge from that Demigryph Knight unit, and cannon fire. I didn't realize I was taking cannon fire. Meanwhile, the main line of the humans have pushed us back a little bit, but the flanks are being held by our Chaos Spawn and our Gores over here. Chaos Spawn are going to be going into these great swords, while the Gore Herd tries to make it into the more squishy crossbows, along with these Ungor spears. You can see now the Curse of the Midnight Wind being dropped by the Celestial Wizard. Over here, one of my Ungor Raiders pulled back and we're giving some fire over here. But you can see that the Minotaurs with the great weapons and the Gorbals are just destroying these kitty cav. Just destroying. And that was why I brought them. I wanted them to counter Demigryph Knights, and they do it rather well. With some other assistance from spears and Ungor Raiders and arrows too. But we are crushing their Demigryph Knights, which is one of the biggest tools they have. Over here, our Chaos Spawn are going up against the Greatswords. The Ungor Raiders back here, I believe, are targeting the crossbows. Yeah, they are. Right over here. Meanwhile, another Minotaur unit is just cleaning up some halberdiers over here with the Gore Herd. Gorbal heading back to help the fight against the Demigryph Knights because they have come back from routing. And you can see our Spearmen are just into these crossbows, so they are no longer firing. General the Empire, not many allies around him except for the Celestial Wizard who's being teamed up on by these Gore Herds. Demigryph Knight update, they are basically gone. Basically gone. You can see some routing units way over here. My Sigor trying to get into these Outriders. I didn't know if they were on skirmish, so I was hoping to try and surprise them and get into them. And I think they eventually do stop when we get in. The other enemy general is going to come over here to try and assist their ally in this fight. You can kind of see it's not going too well for them. Our Chaos Spawn have taken a beating from these Greatswords, but that's okay. They still have some crossbows up. Our Cygor, I think, briefly got into those Outriders and made them run. You can see the Demigryph Knights are shattered. Now we're over here with the Gorbel, and the Ungors trying to take out this general who came down from flying. Also in the fight against the Demigryph Knights, something I didn't point out, I did buff our Gorbel with Malagor's single target spell. I can't remember. You know, we'll cover that after the battle because I can't remember exactly what it does other than a melee attack increase. And that's it. That's all they wrote. Good game to my ally and my opponents. They could not handle the combined might of the Beastmen and the Chaos forces. The generals kind of held on to the very end, so they didn't get sniped at all. So good on them for holding, but it wasn't enough. Their troops were gone. Let's take a look at the kill count. One of the Gorbel was 47 kills, which is a lot. The main line of infantry did okay. They kept the halberds at bay for a little while. That's all I wanted from them. The Chaos Spawn got 34 kills. Those are mostly against the Great Swords, and these Minotaurs got a lot of kills against the Kitty Calf specifically, so that is really good. For our ally here, Big Bird, 45 kills. Exalted Heroes did really good. Chaos Marauders did good. Forsaken did good. They all did good, really. All across the board. Very high amount of kills. Wow. 77 from Daedalus. Holy crap. Wow, that's okay. That's a lot of kills. That hero did work. That hero did a lot of work. 28 from the Celestial Wizard. The Warrior Priest ran by themselves into the Minotaur group, so they were killed pretty quickly. Hellstorm Rocket Batteries. Yeah, they got a couple kills. Worth 1,400 though. I think that's how much they are, right? 1,400? Probably not. Crossbows got some decent amount of kills, and the Outriders unfortunately did not. Oh, I see. So the Kitty Cav belonged to Krampus. Okay, so it wasn't split up, just one person brought two. Alright, so both the Kitty Cav, I guess they did okay, but they got shut down by the Minotaurs. Great Swords did okay. Halberdiers are pretty good. Crossbows didn't get to do too much, and along with the Great Cannons either. But man, 77 kills on a general, you don't see that too often. That's a lot. That is a lot. Let's look at the spell that I was talking about earlier. What is it? This one. Okay, yeah. Right, it's also the weapon damage. So it's a single ally for 55 seconds, so I put that on our Gorbel before the engagement with the Demigryph Knights. Or was it the Minotaurs? You know, I can't remember. It was one of those two. But in any case, their damage was shot up really high, along with their melee attacks, so they're going to be getting through and just doing so much armor piercing and anti-large damage to those Demigryph Knights, and it melted them. So yeah, I only took Mantle of Garruk and the Savage Dominion. Now what this did though, because this has a very long cooldown, Malagor, in terms of spells, wasn't able to cast like anything for most of the battle. So I think if I'm to bring these two spells again, I would at least bring the Explosion, maybe a Devolve, like basically just one other spell, and I think you have a solid Malagor. Just something to do damage and that you can have like a short cooldown time with. So yeah, probably Vile Tide, I think, with one cast of the Mantle and then of course the Cygor. The other things I brought with him was the Icons of Vilification, which increases leadership around him, including weapon damage and armor piercing, which I think is amazing. In a 45-meter area, I think that's just so... It's insane, like, how many buffs each of these heroes and leaders give to the entire army. And how much self-buffs, like, this army has. It's really nuts. And for the abilities, I think I brought everything, including Something Wicked Comes This Way, which decreases the enemy leadership in a 60-meter area, which is huge. And it's only 25. A -4 penalty for only 25 gold in a 60-meter area around Malagor, I think is insanely good. I don't think I brought Bestial Surge. I think that's the one thing I don't bring. It costs 200. It's cool when you're casting a spell that buffs up your entire army's speed and vigor, but I didn't use it because it was so expensive. But yeah, that's what I brought with my Malagor. Hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. I will see you all next time.